welcome to episode 11 of Business and Leadership Stories. It really is a well oiled machine by now. Sachin Bhandari from The Story Co. comes in. In his ordinary day, he helps companies, startups, and professionals break the culture of MBA speak and uses the power of stories to help them achieve their business goals with speed and ease. He does this via coaching, consulting, and training. Here, it's one simple business and leadership story that he narrates, and after that, it's for us to ask him the business and communication and leadership tip that we can extract out of that story. How's it going, man?
Very good, Hrishi. The monsoons are here, and you can feel their presence.
I remember in a former life, you used to travel the planet and you used to do travel stories for me before this whole business and leadership stories
Right, I remember
series
those.
started. And I remember one of your most memorable trips was to the continent of South America. And I used to keep teasing you about the lovely ladies, the South American ladies in Brazil and Bolivia and Colombia. Of course, you're a much married man now, so that warrants that I don't tease you that much. However, there's still lots one can learn from Bolivia's Bollywood dancers, and you're going to tell us that story.
Yes, I will, Hrishi. Thanks for taking me on a trip down the memory lane. Wonderful days. I hope I get to. In fact, I'm thinking of taking my wife to South America this December, to some of the places that I already visited and to meet some of the friends that I already made in that continent. So yes, that personal aspiration aside, Bolivia was really special because I remember that one day I was in Brazil planning to go to Bolivia, and I stumbled upon this YouTube video which had Bolivian youngsters dancing to Marjani by Shah Rukh Khan and Kareena, the Billu movie song, and they were completely in the get-up. They knew all their moves, and I was like, I just didn't know, like, was I living in some virtual reality, looking at Bolivians dancing to Bollywood numbers? Because I guess 99% of Indians probably don't even know that a country like Bolivia exists. So I had to go ahead and travel and understand what was this entire thing about, what was this story of these young people. And I actually took a flight from Sao Paulo in Brazil, went to Santa Cruz in Bolivia, and then made my way to this small mining town called Oruro, which is otherwise really quiet, except during carnival days it comes alive because the carnival there is really famous. But I met this group of people called Danca-Indu. They are Bollywood dancers led by a guy called Antonio. Interestingly, Antonio had found Bollywood dancing or Bollywood movies and Indian art uh, by chance. YouTube video. He liked the song and the dance. It grew on him. Started teaching himself, and over a period of time, other friends joined, and that's how they formed a group. I went and stayed with them for 2 days, Rishi. Now, what I was really fascinated with is that we went to a party. They took me to a party in Bolivia. So in Bolivia, when kids they graduate from 10 standard equivalent of Bolivian education, parents throw a huge party and they make a 3-layered cake. Okay, and in a party like that, the song that was playing and what these folks were dancing to, Antonio and his group, was "Aaj Ki Party Meri Taraf Se" by Salman Khan. So if Salman Bhai ever sees that video, I'm sure that he will want to invite all those folks over to India. That happened. And then they took me to a bunch of places. They were completely in their element because they wanted to showcase their art to me, because they were so happy that somebody from India had come down to write about them. So I was writing an article for Mint Lounge that time. And I was writing for other publications like Nat Geo, Forbes Life as well. And my parting moment with the group was, they did a beautiful, like, few numbers in front of their a statue called the Virgin of Tokowan or something. And I was going to say goodbye, and I asked this girl called Norma, what's your dream in life? And I still remember her answer. She said, Sachin, of course she said it in Spanish, I'm translating into English. She said that my dream is to be able to go and dance in front of an Indian audience on an Indian number. And that's all I want from life. And I've narrated this story so many times in my workshops and everything, but I still get the goosebumps. It was indeed a special day, special moment. Now let's take a pause. Every time that I ask people in my workshop, what do you get to know about me from the story? most people will go on and say, Sachin, oh, you've traveled to so many countries.
Yeah.
You've written for great publications. You mentioned about Mint Lounge, Nat Geo, all of that. You are also somebody who loves chasing stories and culture. So these are the messages that people get. What's the communication tip? I'll let you speak and then I'll come back to that.
Yeah, I find it fascinating that you can deflect glory of yourself and still make a valid point. I mean, the logical thing would have been to just go on about yourself, but the fact that you made these Bolivian dancers the centerpiece of your storytelling, that
Right.
tells me a little bit. So let's go ahead. The business, leadership, communication tip for the day that you can learn from the dancers of Bolivia.
That's right, Hrishi. And you hit the nail on its head. It is right that you are passing the glory or you're transferring the glory onto someone else. I think a lot of people, whether you are, a junior young manager in an organization, you are a CEO, a team head, somebody who's in business, and you always have to. So we have always faced this dichotomy in our work life, right? One, you want to be able to talk about yourself so that you are able to present your best self and you get greater opportunities. But at the same time, when you talk about yourself, you can come across as you're bragging. So how do you solve for this problem? And that's exactly what I say when I say that you put the spotlight on someone else. So rather than talking about how you motivated your team, talk about how your team was able to surpass a particular challenge, and you played a small role by just giving them certain tips and certain suggestions, and maybe made a plan for them. So it's like an 80-20 principle. 80% of the time you talk about the people, their story, and insert yourself as the mentor in the story. So whenever you're faced with the situation where you have to make a point about yourself, think about how you can put the spotlight on somebody else so that you don't even come across as you're bragging and you're still able to make your point. And that's exactly the Bollywood Dancers of Bolivia story does for me.
Sachin Bhandari writes this wonderful Win with Stories newsletter on LinkedIn. I highly advocate you guys go and check it out. Also, if you want to hire his services to help your task force achieve their business goals with speed and ease, you can get in touch with him. Can you give out your coordinates, please?
Yes, Hrishi. I write regularly on LinkedIn, so I think the best place to find me is LinkedIn. Look for Sachin Bhandari, Sachin. That's easy. Bhandari is Bhandary, not I. And on my profile page right there's a link which says get in touch or stay in touch, newsletter, and how to book my time. Everything is over there. Yeah.
Super stuff. I'm going to see you next week. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Look forward, Hrishi. Look forward.
One world, your station.